The year is 1610. A chill wind howls through the Carpathian Mountains, carrying with it more than just the sting of winter. It carries whispers of a name spoken in hushed tones and fearful glances. Elizabeth Báthory, the Blood Countess, born into nobility, mistress of Cactus Castle. She was an enigma, draped in finery. But beneath the opulent facade, a darkness festered. A darkness that would stain the very stones of her castle crimson and cement her place in history as one of the most prolific female serial killers of all time. Her legend is a tapestry woven from fact, rumor, and fear. A chilling reminder that even in the grand halls of nobility, evil can lurk, masked by beauty and protected by power. Over 600 souls are said to have perished at her hand. Young peasant girls lured to the castle with promises of work and a better life, only to meet a gruesome end. The accusations are as shocking as they are numerous, painting a picture of sadistic cruelty that chills the bone. But are these stories merely elaborate fabrications, exaggerations fueled by envy and a thirst for sensationalism? The truth, as always, is a murky and complicated thing, lost somewhere in the mists of time. For years, whispers circulated throughout Hungary, whispers of missing girls, last seen near the imposing Cactice castle. Whispers of strange occurrences within the castle walls, screams echoing through the night, the metallic scent of blood hanging heavy in the air, but fear kept most people silent. Elizabeth Báthory, after all, was no ordinary woman. She was a Báthory, a name that commanded respect and instilled terror in equal measure. To speak against her was to invite ruin upon yourself and your family. Then the whispers turned to screams. Screams that could no longer be ignored. The accusations against Elizabeth Báthory were as shocking as they were specific. Torture, mutilation, and murder were just the beginning. Some accounts claim she bathed in the blood of her victims, believing it held the key to eternal youth. Others spoke of needles shoved beneath fingernails, lips sewn shut, and flesh peeled away with hot irons. The stories, passed from villager to villager, became more gruesome with each retelling. Whether truth or exaggeration, they painted a horrifying picture of depravity and painted Elizabeth Báthory as a monster in human form. The castle, once a symbol of power and prestige, became synonymous with unimaginable suffering. Within its walls, it is said, Elizabeth Báthory indulged her darkest desires, transforming the castle into a macabre stage for her twisted performances. The methods of torture attributed to her are the stuff of nightmares. Some accounts describe her biting her victims, tearing flesh from their bodies with her teeth. Others speak of a cage designed to slowly crush its occupants, their screams swallowed by the thick castle walls. One of the most chilling accusations involves a device known as the Iron Maiden, a hollow human-shaped contraption lined with spikes. Victims were supposedly forced inside, the door slammed shut and their lifeblood slowly drained away. While the historical accuracy of these specific devices being used by Báthory is debated, the sheer brutality of the accusations is undeniable. It speaks to a level of cruelty that is difficult to comprehend, even centuries later. For years, Elizabeth Báthory operated with impunity. Her noble blood, it seemed, was a shield against accusations, no matter how disturbing, but her reign of terror could not last forever. In 1610, spurred by mounting rumors and the pleas of terrified villagers, György Terzo, the Palatine of Hungary, took action. He launched an investigation into the goings-on at Cactice Castle, sending his men to gather evidence and testimony from those brave enough to speak. What they found, according to historical accounts, was horrifying. Dozens of bodies, many mutilated beyond recognition, were discovered in the castle and its surrounding grounds. Servants, bound by fear and loyalty, finally cracked under pressure, offering chilling accounts of their mistress's crimes. Elizabeth Báthory was arrested, along with several of her servants, who were accused of complicity in the crimes. However, due to her noble status, Báthory herself never faced a formal trial. She was instead placed under house arrest in Cactus Castle, confined to a single room until her death 4 years later. To understand the story of Elizabeth Báthory, one must understand the world in which she lived. It was a time of immense social disparity, where the nobility stood as a class apart, their power absolute and their actions largely unquestioned. The Báthory family in particular was one of the most powerful and influential families in Hungary. They had produced kings, princes and military leaders, their name whispered with a mixture of awe and trepidation. This power, coupled with the prevailing social norms of the time, allowed Elizabeth Báthory to operate with a level of freedom that is difficult to fathom today. Who would dare question the actions of a Báthory, even if those actions were as heinous as the rumors suggested? Her noble status not only shielded her from scrutiny, but also likely influenced the investigation and its aftermath. While her servants faced swift and brutal justice, Báthory herself was spared a public trial and execution, a testament to the power of her name and the reach of her family. While the legend of Elizabeth Báthory, the Blood Countess, has captivated and horrified generations, it is essential to remember that history is often written by the victors, and in this case, the line between fact and fiction is blurred, perhaps intentionally. Some historians and scholars argue that Elizabeth Báthory was the victim of a conspiracy. They point to potential motives for powerful enemies to fabricate or exaggerate the accusations against her. Land, wealth, and political power were all at stake, and the Báthory family had many rivals who might benefit from her downfall. Others suggest that the stories of her bloodlust were fueled by misogyny, a way to demonize a powerful woman in a patriarchal society. After all, women in positions of power were often viewed with suspicion and distrust, their ambitions seen as unnatural and dangerous. The truth, as is often the case, likely lies somewhere in between. While Elizabeth Báthory may not have been the monstrous figure depicted in legend, it is equally unlikely that she was entirely innocent. Centuries after her death, Elizabeth Báthory continues to fascinate and horrify in equal measure. Her story has been told and retold in books, films, and countless works of fiction, each interpretation adding another layer to her already complex legacy. She has become an archetype, a cautionary tale, and a source of endless fascination. But what does her enduring legacy say about us, the storytellers and consumers of history? Do we revel in the macabre details of her alleged crimes, our fascination a morbid reflection of our own darker impulses? Or do we see her as a victim, a woman trapped by the constraints of her time, her story a reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the enduring legacy of societal prejudices? The truth, like Elizabeth Báthory herself, remains an enigma, a chilling reminder that history is not always black and white, and the lines between monster and victim can be blurry indeed.